New documentary is highlighting the career of former Secretary of Labor, best-selling author, and longtime professor Robert Reich. The Last Class follows Reich as he teaches his final wealth and poverty class at UC Berkeley, ending a 40-year career.
I've been a teacher for 42 years.
1, 2, 3.
I'm beginning my last semester. I've done a lot of other things. That's when we got a minimum wage increase through a Republican-controlled Congress. I was economic advisor to Barack Obama. I was Secretary of Labor. But I've always come back to teaching, and I can't imagine not doing it. I still feel that excitement, that energy. What do we owe each other as members of the same community? So many people have come up to me and said, "Are you still teaching, or are you retired?" And I resist the urge to punch them in the nose.
The film is both a love letter to education and a look at Reich's legacy. And Robert Reich and the film's director, Elliot Kirschner, are actually both here to tell us more about that. So great to have you both here. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Secretary Reich, before we get to the film, I do have to ask you about the economy, because the Fed chair said just this week that he expects inflation to increase as a result of the president's tariffs. We're waiting to see if the Fed will cut rates or not. What do you think about that?
Well, I think the Fed chair is probably right. Inflation is likely to increase because the tariffs are essentially taxes, and taxes on all of the items Americans actually purchase mean that prices are going to rise.
There were also concerns that we would see bare shelves, huge supply chain issues as a result of these tariffs. That hasn't come to fruition yet. Why not?
Well, there is a lag time, and also some of the highest tariffs have not yet been instituted. Tariffs are a very dangerous and blunt instrument for the economy. And we should have learned in 1930 during the Smoot-Hawley tariff. Remember that one? This is a little bit insane to do this kind of tariff tax on Americans at this time.
All right, back to the film. You've had such a prolific career through so many different life stages and iterations. What made you want to tell your story now and in this way?
Well, it's basically Elliot, the director, who came to me when I was just approaching the last semester of my last class. And Elliot, you said, maybe there's something here. Let me make a video. Mm-hmm. And it was a bait and switch entirely. And it became really a film.
Yeah, feature-length
Elliot,
film.
were you plotting all along,
Well,
or did this turn into more than you expected it to?
It turned into more than I expected. I mean, we just thought, I heard that Bob was retiring after 40 years of teaching, and it felt like, it would be a shame to miss documenting that moment. So we just started rolling cameras and following Bob around and just seeing what we got. And by the time we got to the end of the semester and we looked back at our footage, we really felt we had something special.
And tell me why. What was it that stuck out to you that you thought, oh, there's something more about this that we need to dig into?
Well, I think it was both the lessons that Bob was teaching the class and just also the expressions from the students. But more than that, it's just the sense of going through life and a chapter of life. And I think we all go through different chapters, and being able to documenting and seeing someone process the end of something that was so important to them over so many decades. It's just a very compelling story to tell, and Bob was very open and with his feelings and sharing that. I really felt we were able to show a part of a public figure that the public often doesn't see.
If I could just add to that, education is so critical to our entire culture. It's not just the economy; it's our democracy. A democracy requires an educated person to be able to process what's going on. And I taught that class because I wanted thousands of young people to be able to have critical thinking skills, critical assessment skills, so that they would not simply take what they were told without understanding what it was all about. And that's the essence of teaching. That's the essence of education. It's also the essence of our democracy, which is under sharp attack right now.
Many of us have not been lucky enough to take your class. So what's your most important or favorite lesson to teach on the economy?
The most important lesson, which I told my students over and over again, is if you really want to learn something, talk to somebody who disagrees with you. Because in talking to somebody who disagrees with you, you will test your own views, they will test your views, you will test their views. I don't lecture in the sense of trying to give students my own opinions. I want students to learn to think for themselves. whether it's the economy or politics or what I think is the connections between politics and the economy.
Do you find those conversations are getting harder? People are more polarized?
They are much, much harder than they used to be. I did teach for 42 years, and when I started to teach, there was more of a sense that we're all in this together. And in the last few years, obviously, that sense has been eroded.
All right. Well, lovely to talk to you both. Thank you for coming in. The project is a great one. Thank you.
Thank you so much.